Alright, welcome. This video is going to be a quick video on the Alphas AIR TW. Finally found some public information on it. I got a couple of leaked photos through Instagram and such, but this is actually a public info. I'll go over that real quick. If you like this type of stuff, make sure you subscribe. I'm going to be doing a whole entire review series on this reel, starting from, well, this right now, getting the leaked information, and then going over kind of the unboxing, initial impressions of the reel, going over some more specs once I get it in hand, and then I'll be doing a test casting from like the bottom end of the spectrum of what it can handle all the way up to the max weight it can handle casting. And then I'll be doing some actual in the stream fishing with it to show like real life usage. And then I will also be doing afterward, tearing it apart, looking at the internals and such. So if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe below, and also just all their BFS gear as well. But I'll get onto it. Right here, let me get my computer set up for it. Alright, so this is the Daiwa Japan website. What kind of got my eye onto the Alphas AIR TW was through Instagram. Like I said, people sending me messages about it. I was like, this is the best thing that could happen, because I really like the Steez Air that I did a review on, but it's really pricey. So this should get a lot of the same casting performance with a lot less price. So if you know Japanese, you know that this says product right here. I don't. So what I do, I'm using Google Chrome right now. If you right click, it'll say translate to English. I already have that set, but it doesn't translate everything. So if you hover over it, look on the bottom left down here. If you're using PC, it'll be by where your Windows button is, as daiwa.com/jp fishing products. That's what you're going to want to click on. This is daiwa.com/jp. If you just go to daiwa.com, you'll have like a landing page over here with whatever region you have. So it's US, France, I think Germany has their own, a bunch of different regions, Australia. Just pick Japan from over there. So here I'm at rod, reel, where this is clothing. I'm going to click on reel for this. They also have a bunch of different JDM, that's Japanese domestic market, specific rods. It's kind of cool to look around here once in a while. So I'm going to click on this picture of this bait casting reel. And now they break it down into freshwater and saltwater. So scrolling, here is the Steez Air that just came out, did that review. If you want to check that out, I got those videos in my channel down below. SS Air, that's a classic. That's one of my favorite ones right now. And then scrolling to saltwater, I thought it was odd, so I came across this. This is the Steez Air picture right here, but if you look, it says Alphas AIR TW. So I'll click on that, and it loads up, and there's the Alphas AIR right there. Pretty sweet looking. It doesn't have the huge D, it just has a small Daiwa D right there. Hex bolt just like the CT does. Brake dial on the bottom, that's pretty sweet. So that's a big change that's happened with the Alphas frame. Other than that, there's not too much of a frame difference, other than, of course, the T-wing that's on there. I know there's always been discussion on the Tackle Tour forums about the Alphas changing. Like, don't change that frame, I love it, I love it. But some of those die-hard Alphas guys, they actually like this new frame, they're digging it. So that's good news. I'm not too picky on a certain frame, I just like smaller frames. And don't really like round reels because they're just a little bit big for BFS, especially for BFS. They're just a little bit too big. I know a lot of people like their Conquest BFS reels, but I don't know if I can ever get into it. So going over some differences, there's a zero adjuster knob there. This part of the frame is a little bit different, but and then of course you have the T-wing with a little cutout here for more line flow. But overall, you can look at this reel and say, hey, that's an Alphas. The spool is by KTF, 28mm spool I should add in there. So that's actually that's the same size as the Steez Air spool. So that should be the same exact spool. They might do a little bit different, like instead of having, let's say, a titanium spool shaft, they might have stainless steel to drop the price. But I'm not too sure. I haven't seen any specs on the spool size yet, like on the weight. 8.6 gears, that's pretty fast for Alphas. The fastest before a 7.2. And I do have a 7.2 Alphas SV, so something I'm going to do with that maintenance video I'll do on the Alphas AIR TW is see if those gears are compatible. That might open up a whole new realm of Alphas SV if you can get those 8.6 gears in there. So scrolling down, it says the Alphas finally reborn, T-wing system, 28mm spool, G1 duralumin, so that's like their top of the line aluminum that they use for KTF. This is not only the bus, That's bass. It just doesn't translate perfectly. Also for trout and mountain stream. So maybe those breaks would be kind of a little bit tuned toward making those short pitches as well. Like I said, the Steez CT was the Steez Air was actually a really good caster. I just didn't think it was worth the $600 that they're asking for. Comes with finesse bearings. So you don't have to really upgrade the bearings, which I feel that there's very little benefit of upgrading the bearings when those high-end like Daiwa or Shimano reels come with the finesse bearings. Ultimate tournament drag, that's pretty standard for mid to high level Daiwa reels, but something I see in here, I don't see it advertised as having a clicking drag at all. But if you look at this picture, it has the brass gear there, and then it has the ring inside, and then right here would be where the little clicker is. This is how inside the, if you looked at my video of the Steez CT when I broke it down and showed that drag clicker, it's assembled the same way. So I don't know if this is just a stock photo that they use, but hopefully it does have that drag clicker. I really like it for BFS. Not too much for regular bass fishing, but I really do like that clicking drag. Zero adjuster knob, that's pretty standard on Daiwa reels. Even like the new Tatula's got it. In general, I just set my reel to barely have any side-to-side play in the spool, and then I just leave it. You can still adjust it. It says zero adjuster, but it's just harder to turn. That's all. And tuning system, of course. On the bottom, they have this video by Daiwa for the Ultimate Bass series that they got going on. I'll just do a quick little click on that. Let's just see, let that load up. And this is like the general teaser videos that they would have, but now they have it more definitive as the Alphas AIR is now public, if you want to call it that. So I'm not going to watch that whole thing. They catch some Nico rigs and do some skipping with it and stuff. So looking down, it's 8.6 to 1. I mean 8.6 to 1 gear ratio in left hand and right hand. Looks like they'll be released at the same time. I know Shimano sometimes releases the left hand a little bit later. Okay, 75 inches means centimeters per turn. That's about like a 7 something gear ratio with the normal size spool. Because keep in mind that 28 millimeter spool is smaller than your standard, let's say 32 millimeter spool. So you're going to be bringing in less line than you think. So this 8.6 is actually a little bit slower than you would think. 160 grams, I got that up here. That comes to 5.6 ounces, which is pretty good. I imagine this thing's going to have brass gears and an aluminum frame. So that's not too bad. The Alphas Airstream Custom is about the same size weight. So, I mean, it should be no complaints there. 8 pound, 45 meters, that's about 50 yards. That's your typical, like your SS Air, your Aldebaran BFS, like the 2016 version. That's your standard shallow BFS spool, and I imagine there's going to be aftermarket spools that'll make that even shallower, or some of them might even be deeper too. Let's see, 28 millimeter spool, like I said, that's the diameter. That's the smallest that Daiwa's made, and Shimano hasn't made one that small either. This right here, this might look a little alarming, only 6 bearings in there, but this is Saltwater Safe, so you're going to have the knobs, so they have 2 bearings each. That's 4 bearings that you'll probably be able to add real quick. I'm just speculating there. I'm not sure if that's where the bearing count is decreased, but that's pretty common with saltwater reels. Very easy if you're a freshwater angler to upgrade that if you want to. And then the price right here, 42,800 yen. That's the manufactured suggested price. So I know places like Japan Tackle, if you pre-order, you generally get it less, and they generally have it less than the recommended price as well, just in general Japanese sites. But I know for Japan Tackle, before I did a couple pre-orders, it was a pretty good process. Yeah, there's the $395 will be the in the U.S. dollars. And Japan Tackle, generally they have pre-order. Let me see if they got it up here. I don't think they do because this information was just released. So let's see. No, I'm not seeing it. But see how this is in U.S. dollars? That's actually something I just thought of. That's actually good because if you buy from different Japanese sites that are in yen and you use PayPal, they're going to charge a currency conversion fee on top of other fees that they charge. So that's a way that you should really look into as far as comparing prices. That's why Japan Tackle, I order from them, I'd say about 75 to 80% of the time, just because they always have good stuff in their bargain cave here. Let me look. Yeah, I'm not seeing too much that interests me, but it could interest other stuff. I check here all the time too, especially before I make an order. And then what I do plan on doing as well is going to terminal tackle and single hooks. I'm a big fan of using single hooks on trout baits, especially if they're barbless. It's just a lot better for the fish, and you get snagged up a lot less. I got a video as well about kind of setting up your trout baits to be single hooks, and also how to fish them in streams. I got a different video for that. But one thing you want to see, the spoon right here, you want to make sure that you have one for plug if you're using, or it says minnow on it if you're using it for like hard baits, and if you're using spoons, of course, get the spoon. It's the direction of the eye that's the big difference, because your hooks will ride sideways if you have the wrong hook. But look, they have a whole bunch of different sizes on here. I mean, they even got number 2s, but this is like the best variety and price that I've seen for single hooks. Especially if you're going to order a reel, you may as well pick up some single hooks for your small trout baits. And if you want to see more information, there's a thread going on. This is the Tackle Tour forums right here. Here's a thread right here, the Alphas AIR TW 2020. There's a lot of people speculate and just try to guess on stuff that's going to be coming out, and then once it released, information is released, it's a pretty good sharing point. So click on unread post. Let's see, might be around the regular Alphas frame size, modified, takes more room, but see, a lot of people think it's bad. This is an expensive Alphas, which it is, but you're also getting a top-of-the-line BFS reel on top of it, so it's not really too badly priced, I think, overall. And if they start making the TW and, like, say, future Alphas, it won't be too bad. So overall, that's all I got. Let me click here. That's all I got on it. I'll be sharing information as I get it on Instagram. I don't think it would be worth making a video each time for it, but I'll be sharing a bunch of information on Instagram, so make sure you follow me on that. And if you guys have any sort of information on the Alphas AIR that I don't see, you can comment that down below. Thanks for watching, and I will be doing an entire review on this very shortly. Thanks.